everyone, you are welcome to this class. I am G-Joy. In today's class, I'm going to be explaining the basic bodice pattern of children, girls. Okay, the half scale from the shoulder to the waist. Most times children clothes are always ball gown, flare gown and all of that. So my major emphasis this morning will be on the half scale bodice, which is the shoulder to the waist. Now, the children's measurement is different from the adult's measurement, but they are similar. The difference is in the, like adults, we were having the shoulder measurement from one shoulder to the other. We usually have like 15, 16. But for children, we do not have up to that. We have within the range of 9, 10, 11. So the one I'm going to be explaining right now is for children between the ages of 3 and 5. So you can also apply it for children up to the age of 10. So between 3, 5, up to 10 years. Now the shoulder measurement for children that are 3 years old is usually around 9 inches. And then for 5 years old, 5 and 6 years old, their shoulder is 10 inches. And then for the children that are up to 10 years, 9 to 10 or 8 to 10, their shoulder is 11 inches. So if you understand this one I'm going to explain, then you can apply it to any age category of children. So all you need to do is to measure the child. So the way you measure an adult, that is how you measure the child. Measure from one shoulder to the other, and then measure the wideness of the neck, and then measure the chest, because for children we do not really refer to it as bust because they don't have their breasts. Their breast is not matured yet, so we just refer to it as chest. And most children, their chest is always close to their waist. Their chest measurement, that is the chest round or chest circumference, is usually close to the waist. So I'll be using the board for my illustration. You can use a pattern paper, and I'm going to be explaining both the front and the back pattern at once. I'll be making use of my marker and of course my tape and my ruler. So let's go to the. So this is the measurements that we are going to be looking at. The shoulder is 10, the neck width is 5 inches, and because our fabric is usually unfold, that will be 2.5. Now for a child of 3 years, you can use 2.25. And then 5 years, 6 years, 2.5 will fine for them. Yes, unless if a child is chubby, then you can use 2.75. But always measure your neckline. And then the shoulder you're working with is 10 inches. For a child of 3 years old, use a shoulder of 9. And then for a child of 8 years, 9 years, you can use a shoulder of 11. Now the shoulder to the chest is 6 inches. And then the shoulder, for a child of 3 years, you can use 5 inches for their chest, shoulder to chest, and use 5 inches. And then the shoulder to waist that we are going to work for is 11 inches. So this works for a child, these measurements work for a 5 years old. Okay, so if it's a 3 years old, you can use shoulder to waist of 10 inches. And it also works for 8 years, 7 years. When it's 10 years, then you can use like 12 inches. And then the chest circumference is 21 inches and the waist circumference is 20 inches. The armhole depth is 5 inches, and we got that by dividing the chest measurement by 6 and adding 1.5, the same way we calculate for an adult. So the same formula works for children. Now I'm going to using the board. So like I said, I'm drafting both the front and the back together. So this part represents the back. So just take it that I've placed the front pattern on the back pattern. So, and this part will now be the zipper allowance. Now to know the amount of fabric to put on fold for the front pattern, you simply divide the chest measurement. Divide the chest measurement by 4 and then you add 2 inches to that, because you don't need so much allowances. You are not going to take that allowance. So if you divide 21 by 4, then you can add 2 or 3 inches to that to know the amount of fabric to put on fold for the front pattern. And then for the back, you can add 1.5 inches to that. So for the front, just know that the waist circumference divided by 4 plus same allowance. That is how to know the amount of fabric to put on fold. So we are taking here as our starting line. So I'll take here as the shoulder line. So the shoulder is 10. Remember, this is on fold. And 10 divided by 2, that will give us 5 inches. So you want to mark 5 inches. 5 inches. And then for the neck width, we are using a neck width of 2.5 inches. So you mark 2.5 inches. For the back neck depth, you are going to be using a neck depth of 1 inch. And then for the front, we will use 3 inches. So you can use your French curve. So this first one is for the back, because I'm drafting both the back and the front together. So this is for the back, this is 1 inch. And then this is for the front, 3 inches. Now for children, their shoulder slant is ½ inch. But even for adult is 1 inch. So you want to go down by ½ inch and connect that to the neckline. And then you take the armhole depth. The armhole depth that I said before is 5 inches. So from there you mark the armhole depth, which is 5 inches. So shoulder to chest is 6 inches. Then shoulder to waist is 11 inches. So let me just mark the vertical measurements. Shoulder to chest 6 inches. Shoulder to the waist is 11 inches. Which is to, this is, if we were to be an adult, we say the bust area. So I'm going to connect this with a straight line. So just repeat what I have here. I have 5 inches here. So I'll mark 5 inches. So this is the armhole depth. So this is the chest line. See the upper chest and where the bust is, they are very, very close for children. Okay, so this is the chest line. So this is the one that we call bust, but we can still call it chest. And then this is the waistline. So to know the armhole length, you simply divide the chest by 4. 21 divided by 4. And that should give us 5.2. That will give us 5.2. Okay. Remember, we did not add any seam allowance to this. So you can mark your 5.2. So I'll just use 5.5. That's where the armhole length will stop. Now I've marked 5 inches as the armhole depth. But remember that most times the children clothes are sleeveless, so you will not be using the 5, you will not be using the exact armhole depth. You will be subtracting 0.5 inches to that, so that the armhole will not be too wide. Okay, so you can make the armhole depth 4.5. You can make it 4.5. Okay, so if you mark this 5, just know that you will not add any extra allowance to the shoulder when you are sewing, so that after sewing then you will now have 4.5. So if you want to add extra allowance to the shoulder, then you have to make use of 4.5. that is the armhole depth that you have. You subtract 0.5 because it is sleeveless. Most times their clothes are sleeveless. Okay, so let me mark at 4.5. So this becomes the chest. So I've reduced the armhole depth by 0.5. You see, 0.5 because it is sleeveless. And then you take half of that. Now you mark the armhole length. For the back, you just place your French curve on it like this. This is for the back armhole. And then for the front armhole, you go in by quarter of an inch. For an adult, you usually go in by ½ inch, but for children, you go in by quarter. So take note of the difference. Shoulder, you come down by ½ inch. Adult is 1 inch. The armhole for the front, you go in by 0.25, which is quarter inch. Okay, so this first one is the back armhole. So the front armhole, I'm going to go in by 0.25. So this is for the back, and then this one is for the front armhole. So that is basically all for a basic bodice. So the next thing is to now impute the chest measurement, the chest circumference divided by 4. In this case, it is 21. 21 divided by 4, that is 5.5. And then the waist is 20 divided by 4, that is 5. Then you connect. So you can go ahead and add the same allowance that you want. Same allowance can be 1 inch, can be 1.5. So let me just mark 1.5. And just connect. So this part is our same allowance. So that's just all for. So you see, you can actually put both of them together. The only thing is that when you want to cut, you cut the neckline of the back and the back armhole. You cut it and then you cut the side. Now for the back pattern, you want the zipper to relax very well at the back, so you can go up here by 1 inch and slant it to the side. That is for the back pattern. You slant it to the side. Then mind you, you will not do this for the front. It is only the back pattern you will do that. You will do this only for the back pattern. Okay, only for back piece. The front piece will remain. The front piece will remain the way it is. And of course, because they are children, they do not really need a dart. Well, we have come to the end of this short videos. I hope now you understand how to draft a basic bodice pattern for children 3 years, 5 years, even up to 10 years. So the same principles apply. Until next time when I come your way again, I remain Joy. Don't forget, this is Joy Gala Fashion Guide. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please subscribe to my channel. Help the channel grow. And also you can help share the videos so that my channel can grow. And for you who is a returning subscriber, thank you. So until next time when I come your way again, remain Joy.